getting closer and closer to the final push, for the playoffs here in the NBA season, which is crazy to say, but we're pretty much getting there. I mean, March Madness is going on now for the college kiddos, and really, NBA is getting into that last push, which brings us to a whole bunch of win streaks that we wanted to talk about. And I would say the one we did really want to bring up first before anybody was the Hawks. Now, the win streak is over. They lost to the Rockets before recording. Like, actually didn't play very well against the Rockets, but that's a whole different conversation. They were on an 11-game win streak, which is worth mentioning because they traded their 4-time NBA All-Star and got significantly better, which we all knew with the Hawks because when Trae Young was hurt, they were doing better without him. So that's kind of why they shipped him off to Washington. But they were on probably the most surprising win streak in the league before last night. And to that, a lot of it is behind some of the guys that they brought in, Kuminga being one of them, Buddy Hield, CJ McCollum, just to name a few of the guys that were brought in through various trades around the trade deadline. But they're 20-10 with a top 10 net rating after making the trades at the trade deadline. They were also or are also a East best 13-4. Since that trade deadline, bringing those guys in, it's a lot more ball movement, passing, team effort, not to, I guess, kind of keep dunking or on Trae Young a little bit, but their offense with him was a little more stagnant than it seems like with what they've got now.
Yeah, the defense has been better too. I mean, that's the big takeaway is the defense has been light years better. I mean, I think they're second in rating right now, or they've been over the last month or something like that. I forget. I don't have the stat in front of me. But yeah, I mean, winners of 11 in a row before the loss last night to Houston. And I mean, look, that dropped them back temporarily to 7th. They have one more loss than Orlando does right now. But like the reality is they're well within striking distance of 5 and 6. And the way they're playing, it's hard not to think they're going to get there and avoid the play-in entirely, which would be a huge step for them. It's funny because I think a lot of people, us included, were pretty high on Atlanta going into the season for a lot of these reasons. Like I liked a bunch of the off-season pickups they made, bringing, Alexander Walker in. Obviously, Jalen Johnson has been a breakout star for them. I think Dyson Daniels has been really good as well. Like that's the core that it felt like you could build around with this team and really take it to the next level. Now, even post-trade, there was still a little bit of a struggle there, I think, and they weren't, they were kind of hanging around that play-in position. But you're right, like really in the last month or so. And look, give credit to Jonathan Kuminga. We talk about that trade, and it's like, look, you got to go prove it now, buddy. There's been a lot of back and forth with you in Golden
I would
State.
Say he has.
There's been a lot of blame on both sides. He definitely has. He's been phenomenal for them so far since going over. Look, Quinn Snyder's a great coach. The energy is there, and that defense is going to carry them a long way. Like that is going to translate well come playoff time. And I think that's where, you look at these teams, and as we get into this last quarter of the season and get ready to hit the gas and get to playoff time, like who do you not want to play? Who's actually playing well right now more than just like, oh, we racked up a bunch of wins at the beginning of the season. Like Atlanta's right there in that Charlotte category, I feel like. Maybe not as much, but even with Miami a little bit as well, the way they've been playing the past few weeks, like I'm not saying they're going to win a first round series, but I'll tell you what, if Atlanta gets up to 5, Cleveland does not want Atlanta in the first round. Like I could totally see that turn into a 7-game series.
Well, and I guess, I joke about this, or I wrote it down because I wanted to make sure we talked about it, and we definitely will from the Pistons standpoint, but is there a little bit of an argument to be like, it might be worth it to be in a play-in tournament to potentially get up against the Pistons in the first round of the playoffs, at least in the East, because they're very, depending on, Cade's availability, like that seems like a pretty potential sneak past everybody.
Yeah, but you really got to game it then too, because not only do you go with the risk of being in the play-in game, you have to lose that first game, and then you play an elimination game for your entire season. Like God forbid something goes crazy, right? Like you end up having, not to be a homer, but like you have a Nick Batum game against the Miami Heat, for example, and next thing you know, you're packed up and out of here.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they want to put themselves in that situation.
Well, I guess The further point, though, is like if you're the Hawks and you end up in a play-in situation, you're probably feeling pretty good about it, at least compared to the teams that will be there with you. Yeah, the Hornets are on a bit of a heater. The Heat are a bit of a heater as well, but at least out of those, yeah. But out of the three teams that we just talked about, like it feels like the vibes around the Hawks are the highest out of those three. Now, the Hornets it's cooled off a little bit, I feel like. But if you're probably not too worried about the 76ers, and you're tied right now.
No one should be worried about the Sixers.
You're tied right now record-wise with all those guys and the Magic. So, out of Magic, Hawks, Heat, 76ers, Hornets, who do you feel like could – well, Hornets are 36 wins. I should take them off. 76ers, Heat, Hawks, Magic.
No, wait. No. Don't take the Hornets off. I'm giving the Hornets way more credit than the Sixers. Okay. Don't put the Sixers in that category. And, hey, the Hornets have been playing great since December.
I've just been going with people that got 38 wins. That was my only category.
I want to talk. The Sixers are unserious. They're not winning anything.
So out of Magic, Hawks, Heat, Hornets, I'll take Sixers out of there for you. Who do you feel like has the best potential to go the furthest in the playoffs in the East?
Yes. I guess Atlanta, the way they're playing right now. And I mean, some of their guys have been there before too. I'm thinking like the Okongus of the world. Charlotte's great though too, man. Charlotte's offensive rating is not fake. Like they've had the best offense in the NBA. Like it's hard for me to just not like take that into consideration as well. I think those two have a gap above Orlando and Miami. Orlando and Miami, I don't think are winning a first round series. Maybe if they get Cleveland, there's a better chance. But like if they get the Knicks, the Celtics, or the Pistons, they're not beating any of those teams. I don't know that Charlotte or Atlanta may beat any of those teams, but I don't know that I don't want to play any of them. I'll tell you what, like the weak seed in this right now, and not to pick on them, but the weak team in the East in the 1 through 10 right now is the Raptors. The Raptors are for sure the most, like, there's no way the Raptors game is translating to the playoffs. Like they've already been falling off in the second half a little bit. Like that's the team that if I'm Cleveland, I'm begging to play Toronto in the first round because I'll win that series. Like I'm not going to any of these other teams. And that's not just with Cleveland either. I don't want to sound like I'm beating the drum on Cleveland. I just think they're going to have, that 4 or 5 matchup might be a little tougher than like there's a world where if you're Boston or the Knicks, you get the Raptors, you get the Heat or the Sixers or something like that, where it's like, no, I feel like they're going to win that series. Like I'm not too worried about it. Charlotte and Atlanta are frisky. Like if Charlotte and Atlanta come out of the play-in as 7 and 8, Detroit and Boston, good luck. Like, I'm not going to jump off either of those teams. I think both of them will win those series, but there's absolutely a world where I could see them losing that series too, and that's not typical in a 1-8 and 2-7 matchup.
In terms of net rating, in the last 10 games, I just pulled it up. Obviously, it'll be one off with the Hawks loss in there. Who do you think are the top 5 teams? Or how many do you think are from the West and how many do you think are from the East out of the top 5?
You think who I think are the 5 best teams in the NBA just in general right now?
Just off net rating. I'm just looking at their net rating in the last 10 games.
Rating. Oh, okay. Oh, in the last 10 games. Okay.
Net rating in the last 10 games.
I was like, I have the standings in front of me. This isn't good. I was like, I'll be cheating right now.
No, I mean, I can do 11 to get all of the Hawks wins.
No, do 10.
In there, but we're at 10 right now. So
net rating in the last 10, I feel like it's got to be OKC.
In the top 5?
In top 5.
Nope.
Damn, with them winning 10 in a row, I figured they'd have to be.
Yeah.
Are the Lakers there with their streak?
The Thunder are 6th. The Lakers are 7th.
Okay.
Which is why I'm like, the question I asked earlier of how many do you think are in the West and how many do you think are in the East is a very pointed question.
Are they all? Wow, they're all like Boston, the Knicks.
All but one. The Spurs are number 1.
Okay.
They're the only West Coast. And they are a 13.5 net rating.
All right. So then you got what? Boston, Knicks.
Boston. No, Boston's not on there. Boston is 8. So you have at 5, you have Detroit. Because this was probably right around they're 6-4 in their last 10. So I'm guessing the Cade situation happened in this 10-game span.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a little bit of a dip there. The New York Knicks at 4. At 9 flat for a net rating.
Yeah.
The Charlotte Hornets at 3 with a 9.8 net rating. And then number 2 with a 13.3, the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah. I mean, I would love for the Hornets to come out of the Eastern Conference.
That'd be wild.
That would be an unbelievable scenario for me. Like I would love to see that happen. That is truly my best case scenario for the East this year. The only downside there's only one downside to the Hornets right now. And like I don't want to be heavy about it, but it's the fact that it's Miles Bridges, dude. Miles Bridges is great at basketball, but like he also committed felony assault on the woman. And like that kind of sticks in the back of your mind for a little bit. Like still don't feel great about that.
Just sticking on the net ratings for the last 10 games for teams that we kind of see at the top of the list in terms of like probably contenders this year.
Mm-hmm.
Two stick out at a negative net rating that kind of surprised me, which would be the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're minus 0.9. Their defense is 115.1. And then the Houston Rockets, they're at a minus 2.5, which is kind of surprising. I mean, you look at the teams at the top, they're the only two with a negative net rating, at least in the last 10 games for now. And I know there's been some media back and forth with Kevin Durant. So, that maybe that shapes things up or kicks them into gear a little bit here. Another team that I would say, I know we're not going to talk about a lot today because we're talking more about win streaks. The Pelicans are being a little sneaky with Zion, and so I'm just putting that out there.
No, I'm glad you did. Honestly, like the Pelicans, they're not going to make the play. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, look, I don't think there's enough games yet. Golden State is so injured at this point.
They are 2-8 in their last 10, and the Pelicans are 6-4 in their last 10. That would be a race to watch, man. If they pull out, if the Warriors we'd have to do the math to see how many games are left. But I mean, you're what is that? That's
you're 12? At 70. It's mathematically possible. The Warriors have played 70. The Pelicans have played 71. So the Pelicans have 11 games left. They are 8.5 back currently of Golden State. And Golden State has the game in hand. So if Golden State loses, it can be 8 even. And obviously Golden State is wrecked with injuries. Even Porzingis went out again the other night. Like Golden State is ravaged. They're not going anywhere fast. And so if we had 20 or 30 games left, this would really be something to watch. But I just don't think there's enough time. But I do think
to that, at this point, I'd rather the Pelicans make it over the Warriors. Like
I would as well. I also it's worth mentioning for Zion, as much as we've harped on Zion has played the most games he's played in a long time this season, and he's looked pretty good. Like, I'm not saying there's still a long way to go with the Pelicans, and I think the Pelicans are really poorly managed. Like, I think the Jose Alvarado trade is a great example of that. And you look at the impact he's already having on the Knicks, and the Pelicans definitely sold low on Alvarado. Like, that's still my concern there. That doesn't go away. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see Zion hooping. Like, I'm glad that we're talking about Zion playing basketball.
What are your thoughts about this potential rule change to the NBA, specifically for the 10th seed, that one that's like that last in for a situation like this, where it is so obvious the Warriors do not want to make that anyway? The Pelicans would be a team that actually would benefit from some playoff experience, even if it's only one game. What if there's an ability to, I don't know, trade a pick or something to flip into the 10 seed to at least get
that's why that's such a bad idea though for both sides. Like that's such a, and I mean Golden State, to be fair, Golden State was trying to make the playoffs, just everybody got hurt.
Right, but now they have no one. And the Pelicans, again,
that's what I mean. They're not tanking on purpose though. You know what I mean? Like they're just bad. Like they're just bad because everybody's hurt.
Say we get to the playoffs. Like we get to the playoffs, the Warriors claim, all right, we don't really want this 10 seed matchup. No offense to Clippers or whoever we end up going. It's not worth it for us. We'd rather just go into the offseason. Let us have a higher pick. The Pelicans.
Chicago's going to be doing that in the play-in every year. They're going to be like, this is our strategy to get extra picks.
Dude, the Pelicans are like, yo, you know what? We got some young guys. We want to get Zion, a playoff experience, atmosphere. Like, yeah, we'll play ball. We'll trade you our pick. You know, we'll switch in and let you, get a little bit of a higher pick potentially, and then let's go.
It would be fun this year. It'd be a lot less fun in the East. I mean, the
Yeah,
Bucks,
the
to be
East
honest,
isn't
I've
too.
seen enough of the Bucks this year. We don't need to get them in. And with
Yeah.
Chicago, like, yeah,
But
I'm
like,
good on
but like,
Chicago.
say it was a that's fair. But say it's
Like,
a
I
good,
want to kick the like. I think the Sixers should kick themselves out too. But like, I'm not for the
but like,
Bucks or the Bulls.
right. But say we're in a situation next year, right? In theory, the Pacers are back towards the top, right? So everyone pushes down one. You get the Hornets who are at 11, and the Sixers that are at 10 at that point, potentially, depending on how record works out. Maybe the Sixers don't see value in making it. In a Hornets team that's surging, there might be a space for a pick swap to get them into the play-in tournament and get that playoff experience for the young Hornets team. The Sixers can then use that pick to potentially get another. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think it may not be used every year, but maybe there is an option there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's got to be close. It can't be an egregious like if the 10th seed's 38 wins and the 11th seed's at 22 wins. Like, okay, you're not allowed to do that, you know. But if you're within striking distance, if you're within a few games, you can. I don't know. Swap some stuff.
It's where I like the creativity though, for real.
Yeah,
like
well,
I do,
it's not
and,
like it's
and in
gonna-
this situation, like, because you're right, I would much rather see New Orleans in this
Imagine-
play-in series than I would with Golden State at this point.
Imagine the storyline if, and I know this would never actually happen in a million years, but imagine the storyline of the Pelicans pick swap with the Warriors to get into the play-in tournament and then run the gauntlet and win the whole thing. Could you imagine the story?
Yo, look at us predicting the finals. Imagine, because you get the old Charlotte Hornets with the Pelicans, and then the new Charlotte Hornets in Charlotte playing in the finals. Could you imagine?
That would be if it's that, like, the NBA would be flipped upside down on its head. Like, people would go crazy.
It would be the most unexpected thing in sports history.
There'd be some idiot that had put $100 on the Pelicans to win, and they would get so much money. That's crazy.
Yeah, it'd be like the Leicester City bet with the Premier League back in 2015, where if you bet like before week 1, if you bet $10, it would have paid you out like, I think, 10K or something like that. Like, it was so improbable.
This is such a side. Just I have a sports betting problem conversation.
Just bring it to the light, buddy. We're here to talk about it. My name is Justin Cousart, and I am sports betting.
Dude, I love nothing more than the first day of a golf tournament, picking like 6 guys to place top 20 and putting it as a parlay, because it'll go crazy. Like, it'll be worth so much money because anything can happen. And so I did that during the Players, which is here in Jacksonville. I'm actually wearing a Players shirt right now. But I did that, right? I just was like, you know, Colin Morikawa, Akshay, they're all going to be top 10. There's no problem. Like, Akshay just won last week. Like, no doubt. Everyone's going to be top 20. They're most likely making the cut. So, like, let's go. Bro, when I tell you Morikawa on the first hole of the first day threw out his backhand with triple, I was like, dude, there's no possible way.
He swung his first drive and said, "No, I'm good. Actually,
literally,
I'm all right."
dude. Literally, there's a new. I think it's called Chasing Sundays on Netflix. You'd probably enjoy it. It's like a Full Swing sort of deal where they just mic up 4 or 5 players, and then follow the process of trying to get to Sunday and obviously win the tournament. And he was one of them. Could you imagine though? Like, production's like, you gotta be kidding me. We mic'd this guy up. He made it half a hole, and now he's gotta go. Like, dude, and I really think he was probably one of the favorites to win the whole thing last week. So, like, it was just like, I was texting Nicole's brother. I'm like, bro, this is a lock. And he's like, you got a very diverse group there. I was like, the only thing they got in common is they're gonna make top 20.
Nicole's brother is hilarious. You got a very diverse group. That's the nicest way to say, what is this trash that you just sent me right now? Are you smoking crack?
I go, bro, the only thing they have in common is they're all a lock for top 20. And he goes, I'm pretty sure Morikawa just threw his back out and dropped out of the.
Dude, I almost feel bad too, ironically, because it's Morikawa. Like, Morikawa posted earlier in the week when he was warming up for the Players on Instagram. He had like the Panda. I've low-key turned into a watch guy a little bit.
Yeah.
That's not a point. He had the Panda Rolex Daytona on, which is obviously a watch that's way more money than I can afford. And so I sent it to my buddy, and I just did one of those like, "Ooh, I'm Colin Morikawa. I get to golf with the players and play golf for a living and be good at it, and I get a Rolex Daytona while I play golf." And now I kind of feel bad. They threw out his back on the first hole. I'm like, oh man.
Threw out his back, but he didn't make the cut, so it wouldn't matter. But we did do the math. I think the person who came in last place at the Players, like as long as you make Sunday, I think you still make close to like $75K.
Yeah, well, the Players is the most profitable tournament
25,
golf, right?
It's a 25 million purse. Winner gets 4 or 5 of that, and then the rest is from there.
That's just win the Players. You can take the rest of the year off, low-key. Like, dude, you ain't even got to do it.
Dude, you want to feel real bad? Look up this kid, Akshay Bhatia. Young kid. He joined PGA. I think he's on his 4th or 5th year now. Skipped college because he was so good at golf. Skipped college, went straight into tournaments. He won the Arnold Palmer the week before Players.
Oh yeah, in Orlando. Yep.
Yeah, he won $4 million. And he's won numerous times before. This kid is 24, and he's won so many tournaments already. It's like, dang, bro. There's another kid that I'll have to send you. I don't know his full story, so I don't want to talk about it. But he was a part of the Players. Like, he made it. I think he was top 5, if I'm not mistaken. Similar situation. Like, learned golf by just watching like Tiger Woods and everybody on TV, and got into it. Couldn't go to college because he couldn't afford it. His family couldn't afford it. So he's in the golf tournament. And this was like, I think one of his highest like placements. I think his winnings that he won that week is more than he's won on the tour the whole time. So it was like a big story for everyone. I'll have to find his name. It was cool. They were talking about him a lot.
No, it's definitely real cool. I'm going to executive produce on the fly here a little bit since we're 22 minutes into warm up. It turns out we should have warmed up with Cade and then talked about the streaks in the middle. There was way more juice there than I expected.
We didn't even get to the other ones.
Well, no, we're going to get to the late. So, like, I mean, OKC's won 10 in a row. There, to be fair, there's not as much there that we were going to talk about. It's more about just hey, OKC's looking like they're ready to round into the playoffs. No, I mean, the one we're going to come back with, and we are going to come back and talk Cade here a little bit too. But we're going to come back and we're going to talk the Lakers winning 8 in a row because Luka is just playing otherworldly right now. Definitely the best he's looked so far in a Lakers uniform, and for a team that I've kind of written off. Honestly, I'm want to talk about that a little bit here because Stephen A coming out and being like, I haven't said it. Luka's an MVP candidate. Cool, bro. The sun is bright. Like, what are we talking about? Well, Luka's been an MVP candidate the whole season, right? Like, no one's
been in a top 4 at least conversation the whole time. Like, he's always
still
been
think
there.
He's gonna win it, but I think for sure he's pushing it a little bit here in these last few weeks. But we'll talk about that.
But I know
it's not exactly a hot take there, but
I see why he did it. NBA.com has him moving to number 2 on the list. It's SGA, Luka, and now Wemby.
I really thought Stephen A was going to go out of pocket and say custody battle. Luka's been going out of control because, like,
dude, that'd be crazy.
Well, like, I'm not trying to make light of this because it's a situation, but it's like, dude, he's been like in a custody battle for his kids, and ever since then, he's been averaging like 40 plus a game, and they've won every single one, and I'm kind of like,
Yeah, he has he's in this span, last 2 weeks, he's had a 60, a 50, a 41, a 31, and a 30 triple-double, something like that they were saying. 11 of the last 12 wins. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So
he's hooping. We'll come back with that here on the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. Welcome, everybody. My name is Kevin Rafuse. Joining me, as always, my co-host, Justin Cousart.
I'll skip my intro so we can get back to the basketball since I took, 14 minutes to talk about golf, apparently.
Dude, that wasn't even 4. That was like 4 minutes, bro. We just segued all over. No, it wasn't that much. We just spent a lot of time on the Hawks and the East. I mean, there's just a lot of pivots. I liked your idea, though. But see, that's the beauty of it. You just got to let the conversation flow sometimes. Like that, I liked... why not talk the bottom? Why not talk Pelicans if they're not on the outline a little bit? You just gotta let it happen at some point. But leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. I'll read them on the podcast. If you're not an Apple user, Google Play Store, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Player FM, anywhere you find a podcast, you can find us.
Of course. And like we said, we're on YouTube. Subscribe. You'll get notifications when new episodes are coming out. You can also leave comments. We'll read them here on the show. And that's about it. Subscribe so you can find out when new episodes are coming out.
Now, a word from our sponsors.
So I guess let's pop over to the Cade situation with the Pistons, which is really unfortunate. I mean, you had a team that is number 1 in the East. and have been all year. They've been a bright spot of the NBA, especially in the East. They're the up and comer team that we saw last year that we knew could make the leap, and they were making the leap. And now you got Cade out indefinitely with a collapsed lung, which is wild and scary, but also really unfortunate. And it's like this dude is pulling his team there. He's the star of the team, and now you lose him. So it's just a super bummer situation to see for the Pistons. And obviously hope Cade can come back depending on the timeline, and help his team, maybe go far in the playoffs. But for now, we just kind of got to wait and see what happens.
Well, and I think initially, too, when you get the notification that says Cade Cunningham out indefinitely with collapsed lung, you go, that's not great. What does that look like? Yeah. Right. With so few games left, so close to the playoff times, with Detroit's best season in ages. I mean, the good news is he's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. The doctors have come out and said they think this is pretty mild. Now, he's going to miss 8 games minimum, it sounds like. So the good news for the Pistons is they're not super, like, you've got a 4-game cushion on Boston right now. Could they lose that in theory? Sure. But you got to trust the guys to get over the finish line there. And just, again, it's all about having Cade at 100%. Like, you talk about, right, the offensive load for this team. Cade Cunningham has carried so much of that all season long, and they've been running the gauntlet here, being the number 1 seed. And as we talked about in the intro of the show, that 7 and 8 seed is looking a lot more feisty these days than it might have been otherwise. Like, you're not going to get the luxury of kind of having a series off if you're Detroit, where you almost just get to beat up on an under 500 team at the 8 seed, and then kind of then worry about ratcheting it up in the second round. Like, you're going to kind of have to get after it right away. And so, yeah, I mean, it's about easing him back in. But the good news is it doesn't at least feel like this is going to be too long term. Like, there hasn't been any, the playoffs haven't even been mentioned yet at this point with him. It feels like he's going to be back before then. I mean, there are people, he needs 5 more games to hit the 65 game threshold.
That's what MVP. I was talking about. Yeah. If he doesn't make that, bro, then the 65 thing needs to be relooked at.
The 65 thing needs to get relooked at, period, anyway. It was always stupid. Like, it's the reason you got Jokic out here fighting for his life to try to get this, the 65 game threshold. It's just like, I understand the argument, and I understand that's a whole different conversation to have. The 65 game rule for MVP is garbage. It needs to go away. But the fact, though, that they're saying, like, hey, Cade very well still may play in 5 of those games, like, I feel like you got to feel pretty good if you're Detroit for that.
Yeah. No, I think so. And so, like, to that 65 thing is what Curry, Giannis, and LeBron will not qualify this year. Yeah.
Which, I mean, none of them are going to win the award anyway,
no, but it's still, it's still like, these guys, those 3 are pretty big names in the NBA to not have, even on a list, or have the ability to have on a list because of being out some games.
Yeah.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, because I'm looking at it now, I think Kawhi only has 1 game of wiggle room remaining, or he'll miss it too. I think that's it. Yeah, that's the only one that seems. Maxey might be getting close with his injury, it looks like. But yeah, but to your point, Jokic coming back really feels like it's just a play to be able to stay on that list. So
yeah, I mean, there's I'm trying to think. So more severe cases, I guess, the collapsed lung, and this is on CBS, so they were talking to a doctor. Yep. Gerald Wallace had it in 08-09, and it was a way more severe case, and he only missed about 7 games. Terrence Jones had it in 2014 and 15, where he missed 6 games. CJ McCollum had that twice recently. Now, the first time around in 2021, he did miss like 18 games. And so, 18 would be a lot. That's a big, but that's kind of a worst case scenario. And this doesn't appear to be a worst case scenario situation. So I think, again, no pun intended, I feel like the Pistons can take a sigh of relief here a little bit.
Yeah, and that's what you want to hear, right? Because you don't want the full season to be derailed by that injury, especially with how awesome it's been going for them. But I guess we just got to wait and see, when he comes back, if there's any kind of ramp up period, stuff like that, we'll have to go from there. But
yeah. All right, let's go back to the Lakers now. I do want to mention that the Lakers won 8 in a row. They're up to 3 in the West right now. I mean, there's a big gap between them and San Antonio. They're not going to get any higher, but putting some space a little bit between Houston and Denver and Minnesota. They've got a very strong cushion from the play-in game at this point now. That's not really going to be, that's not really going to be in danger here or anything like that. But I mean, yeah, like we said, this is a team that, just doesn't feel like it kind of had that edge. But, LeBron's looked the best he's had all season, obviously settled more into that kind of side role. Luka just, again, on fire. Like it, and maybe part of this is some of the leg injuries that he's been dealing with too, but it's just part of what makes Luka great is that Luka is so able to change the pace of the game. Like Luka just cuts on a dime all the time where he'll be moving and then he'll just slow things up, and that's where he'll get you. You'll be flying to get this guy, and the next thing you know, he just stops on a dime and takes a jumper. It feels like his movement with his feet has been better than it's been recently. Like he's got that lateral movement you need going. He's really able to get to his spots. I mean, certainly 60 against the Heat, the highlight of all this, getting MVP chance on the road. Look, I still have, worries about how far this team can go. I'm not about to suddenly say they're morphing into a finals contender, but give them credit. They look good. A few weeks ago, I would have probably had 2 or 3 teams over them right now.
Yeah, and the path to the finals here, at least in teams that are playing, it's a general mix, but for the most part, it's a relatively easier schedule. It looks like they have the Magic tomorrow. Pistons will be a tough one, but then you got Pacers, Lakers, Wizards. You have Cavs, Thunder, which is tough. Mavericks, Thunder again, Warriors, Suns, Jazz. So like it's a mix, and they could definitely probably make a statement. They play the Thunder 2 more times, April 3rd and April 8th. Those could be some statement games if they need something to kind of push towards in the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine they're going to be right where they are. To your point, there's no world where I see them catching the Spurs at 52.
No.
So it feels pretty safe to say Thunder, Spurs, Lakers probably being definitely being your top 3 teams, unless an ultimate collapse from the Lakers side gives a little bit of room for the Nuggets and or Rockets to get in there. But those guys are also floundering around 500 as well. So I'd put my money at this point on the Lakers continuing and pushing through. So that's probably going to be your top 3 in the West. And to all of that, I don't think really any of those teams want to, or anybody else in the West really want to play up against any of those teams. So it would be interesting to see the positioning in 4, 5, 6, and 7, and where things go. Really, it's more. Well, no, they're all pretty much right there at 43 wins. Like Rockets, Nuggets, Timberwolves could go any way at this point, and they're all right around 500 in the last 10. So, there's a world where maybe you want to land in a specific spot to avoid the Thunder until the conference finals. But also at that point, then you're going through the Spurs or Lakers, depending on how it works out. And I don't think you want that either.
No, there's no matchup here. You shouldn't be trying to game if you're the Lakers. I mean, the bigger worry, too, is just the interior. DeAndre Ayton, we kind of know what he is at this point. He's had some moments recently. That win against Houston the other night, in particular, he had some strong moments late. Like, you just need the effort to be there, because otherwise you're looking at like Jackson Hayes being your main big guy, and that's just like not going to be sustainable long term.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's good to see. Austin Reeves was slumping a bit too earlier this year. I think it's good to see him kind of, come out of that. He, of course, started the season so red hot, and I think really came back to earth for the kind of middle portion of the season, but it feels like he's starting to look like himself again. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, look, if Luka's going to play like this, they've got a shot in every game. Like, I'm not about to just make them the finals favorite or anything like that, but he is the type of player that's good enough where he could carry you.
Well, and that's why I'm kind of like looking at those Thunder games is like, if the Lakers can come out and win both of those, that kind of shows you they might have found something. So
yeah, if they beat the Thunder twice, I'm maybe, like, again, not about to just pick them to win the finals, but you look at them and you go, oh, wait a minute, like,
yeah, they
okay,
might.
We're in March now, we're in April,
Yeah.
like these games matter. We're starting to get there, so. Either way, definitely worth watching them for sure. I think, I don't think Luka's going to win MVP too. I mean, we're not going to get too much into that today, but I still think this award is SGA's to lose this season. Regardless of that, regardless of Luka, regardless of Cade and whether he actually hits 65 or not, like, We'll see, but it feels like SGA's got this locked up. All right, who's balling, who's falling? Our NBA version of the stock market. We always like start with good for the bad. And so, Justin, I'll start with you this week. Who's balling?
Ballin is for something Kevin Durant can do. Probably by the time you're listening to this episode, he might have done it because he can do it Monday night. Kevin Durant is currently number 6 on the NBA all-time scoring list and only needs 26 more points to pass Michael Jordan, obviously to move into the top 5. He has a game tonight against the Heat, but everyone's pointing out that Kevin Durant is averaging 25.7 points per game this season. And so there's conversation of, should Kevin Durant make sure he only gets 25 points tonight so that he can break the record past Michael Jordan in Chicago?
That would be kind of funny. And definitely fitting here a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Rockets need to win games, obviously. So unfortunately, They don't have the luxury of trying to play with their food a little bit here. But no,
and it's the Heat too. It's not like that you're going up against someone easy right now. Like the Heat are pretty good right now. So
yeah. Oh, and obviously this is going to be a remarkable achievement for Kevin Durant. You know, anytime you're mentioned in the same category as Michael Jordan, passing him on the all-time scoring list, like we do take for granted, I think, a little bit. And part of that is LeBron effect. Part of that is playing with Steph too. But yeah, I mean, Kevin Durant is one of the best basketball players of all time. Like if we're talking pure scoring, there aren't many that have ever played the game. And, you know, he's not going to catch Bron for one all time, but, you know, he's like we said, going to pass Jordan. He could very well be into that top 5. And I feel like that's probably for a guy who's still probably undersold overall in his career and how good he is. I think that's a pretty good reminder.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where. So, yeah, he's right there. Kobe is probably like another 1,000. And then once you pass Kobe, you got another 3,000 before you pass like Karl Malone. So it's going to be a minute before he passes anybody else. But in theory, his career is not really over. So I'd put money on him passing Kobe and maybe even Karl Malone at that point. But yeah, LeBron just got it so locked up. Oh my gosh.
Nobody's catching LeBron. I mean, Kareem's record looked pretty bulletproof, and obviously that got passed. So
LeBron's just so past it. Like,
it's the consistency. Like that's the most impressive part of the LeBron thing. And it's to break that record, you not only have to be good for a long time, you also never have to really have any major injuries. Like, and that's the one thing LeBron has pretty much avoided his entire career. He's never lost an entire season because of like an ACL or a ligament tear or an Achilles, God forbid, or you know anything like that. So, it's obviously, you know, remarkable record, no doubt about that.
Another one that's, well, before we go too far, another one that's worth mentioning is Curry. Steph Curry has the potential to pass Tim Duncan soon.
Cool.
He's like 37-ish points off from that. So, I mean, to move to 19th is not a flashy number. So I don't think anyone's going to talk about it.
not quite as cool as passing Jordan, getting close to top 5.
Top 5, it's not really a headline material. I get it.
All right, balling for me this week is Dennis Rodman, and you're probably wondering how is that possible? Because Dennis Rodman is actually getting inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Of course, he has a 4-match pro wrestling career. 3 of those were in WCW, where he skipped practice during the finals to go on wrestling. He partnered with Hulk Hogan to face Diamond Dallas Page and Karl Malone. Full disclosure, I am not a wrestling guy. I'm not a wrestling hater, but I didn't really grow up watching the stuff. I know the main guys, but like I'm not into the lore and all that. But still, like that's cool for Dennis Rodman. I mean, definitely that's a fun honor for sure.
That's a good one. And was that the one that they talked about in, was it The Last Dance, the documentary? Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I figured that would be the case. So good for him. Good for him. I feel like, is there any NBA guys doing WWE stuff right now?
Well, they had that. They had not this past season, but the season before. They had Hallie and Brunson when they were like in pregame with each other.
Yeah, that's right.
So that definitely happened. I mean, I'm sure there are others over the years, but that's the one recently that comes to mind.
Yeah, good for Rodman. All right, my Fallin is gonna go to potential Eastern Conference because there's a lot of talk about this expansion, which I feel like has been a talk about expansion since we started this podcast, 12 years ago. I still remember getting calls being like, it's happening. Talk about it now. Like, dude, it's been so long. At this point, I'll believe it when I see it. But there's a lot of conversation about it again. And now teams have been brought up as teams that would be potential teams to move to the Eastern Conference if there was a 2-team expansion. The teams that got brought up were the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Pelicans would have a case to move. I say at that point, if you're going to give us a team on the West or on the East, at least give us the Timberwolves because the other two are trash.
Yeah, that's funny. After all the nice things we said about the East too, and how it's kind of caught up a little bit.
To be fair, if you're the Pelicans, you look at it, 25 wins? That puts you, honestly, in worse standings.
Out,
yeah, you're still out.
You're right. You're worse.
Yeah.
No, the logical choice, and so obviously the NBA plan that's mentioned includes Seattle and Las Vegas. Not really a surprise there. Those are the two markets we expected. Obviously, Seattle and Las Vegas, I feel like it goes without saying, need to be in the Western Conference. They are nowhere near the East Coast.
Yep.
The logical teams, let's just run through it from top to bottom. You're not going to move the firm, not moves. You're not going to move the Lakers. You're not going to move Denver. You're not going to move Phoenix. You're not going to move Portland. You're not going to move the Clippers. You're not going to move the Dubs. You're not going to move the Jazz. You're not going to move the Kings.
No.
So at that point, that leaves you with the Texas teams. I don't think you should move any of them with Dallas, Houston, San Antonio.
No.
So that leaves you with, on the table, you've got 3, and they're the kind of the ones we talked about: Minnesota, New Orleans, and Memphis. I got to I'm pulling up my handy dandy map of the United States right now. They're all central time zones, so there's none in the East time zone that makes sense. I look at Minnesota and I go, hey, Minneapolis is pretty close to Milwaukee and Chicago, which is in the Eastern Conference. It does kind of logically make sense with that Detroit group, with that Indy group there as well, where you got kind of that Midwest little segment there. Memphis is further east than Minneapolis is, so I think that just makes sense as well from a strictly, but so is New Orleans. So that's the thing, is New Orleans is the most east of all these cities. So I guess my initial read is Memphis and New Orleans are the teams that go to the East. I think they match well with the Southeast portion, where you've got Atlanta right there. You've got Orlando and Miami that are relatively close. You've got Charlotte that's relatively close. You're still on they're literally on it, of course, but you're on the eastern side of the Mississippi River, which is generally, historically at least, has been kind of the split the United States from east to west. Obviously a lot more land on the western side of that, but that I feel like has been that. And to be fair, Minneapolis, actually, I forget, I'm pulling up the map right now. Minneapolis is actually on the Mississippi River too. I've kind of forgot about that. But yeah, I think with it being Minnesota is the one geographically, and it's close. You can make, they're the only other one that has an argument there. And I think the counterpoint is they go, New Orleans goes, well, Dallas and Houston are right here too. What do you mean? The Texas flights are all really easy for us.
Yeah, everything's right there.
I don't know. I still feel like New Orleans and Memphis are the logical decisions to go east and then keep Minnesota in the west. But I think it has to be 2 of those 3. I don't think there's any other teams you look at and go, that makes any sense to put them in the East.
No, and so I guess, we'll obviously see where it lands, but to me, adding the Pelicans and Grizzlies doesn't really do much, at least in the immediate future for competition.
Not currently. They won 24 and 25 games. They would both be out of play-in position in the East.
And then depending on how the expansions would work, if the other 2 teams were I don't know, whatever the roster looks like, are good teams, and it's then the conversation about the West being better than the East is amplified even more, because you just gave us 2 bad teams and got 2 teams that are actually good. I don't know.
And we want to talk about this later, but because I don't want to just leave this now for Ballin and Fallin. But there is something about too, do you feel like this is the right time for expansion? We've got all these teams tanking right now currently, and they're worried about that. It's you're gonna add 2 more into the mix then?
I think, I don't think that's the move right now. But I think whatever you do to fix the tanking, maybe that's when you can bring the two teams in right off the rip, like make the change, two teams in. Again, if it's like once you're eliminated, you start getting points towards the first round pick or first pick or something, like that's when you add the two teams. So it's just a complete change right off the rip. Everybody's in,
No, 100%. And I mean, look, we always do say, to be fair, on the other hand, there's more talent in the NBA than ever right now in terms of quality players. And so I think, there's definitely arguments on both sides of the coin there, which we'll get into. Like I said, I want to make that a longer discussion. I mean, falling for me this week, just a quick look at the tank race one last time. I feel like I'm copping out with that again, but we got a particular in the Eastern Conference, you've got a real battle of streaks going on the other end, with Indy having lost 15 in a row as we're recording this, and the Wizards having lost 14 in a row as we're recording this. The Brooklyn Nets only 6 in a row, so not quite as much compared to those two, but they're at 17 wins, so they're only a win ahead of Washington and 2 wins ahead of Indy. So we're coming home for a photo finish here. Your levels of ethics in these tanks probably vary on which team, but needless to say, until these tanking rules go into effect, they are getting their money's worth one last time.
Yeah, 0-10. I mean, there are 14 and 15 game 6, for the Nets losing streaks. Like, dude, it's rough out here for those three. Even at least in the West, you got, the Kings are 4-6 in their last 10 and 3-7 for the Jazz in their last 10. They're at least putting a win on the board every once in a while, But, man, in the East, it is egregious. So
yeah, it's bad. But, I mean, hey, this is the draft to do it. So, and I mean, if you're Indy especially, too. I mean, we want to talk about teams. Like, Indy will be better next season.
Indy will be
Indy unquestionably the most ethical here out of these teams. Unless you want to say Sacramento, I guess. Sacramento tried to be good, man. They just stink. So I don't really knock them for that. Washington now, post moves, they'll be interesting, too. I guess they, in theory, should be better next season, too, with a full offseason of Trae Young and with healthy Anthony Davis, ideally.
Yeah,
we'll see. Brooklyn kind of doing it the old school way. I see Brooklyn. I see the vision there. They know they're up to something. But all right, let's switch gears a little bit here. Should we play some Immaculate Grid?
Surely. Here you go.
All right. And so, okay, I like the foreign category. We haven't done that in a long time.
Haven't done it in a minute.
All right, so for the podcast users, of course, you could always watch Immaculate Grids on YouTube. Just search Driving Dish NBA Podcast. If you are not an Apple user, wow, I'm doing the outro already. Jeez, oh man. If you, of course, are a podcast listener, our columns this week from left to right, we got the Nets, we got the Lakers, and we got 20 points a game per season. Our rows from top to bottom, we got the Hornets, we got the Jazz, and we got Born Outside, U.S. 50 states, and Washington, D.C. I kind of like the teams a little bit here, too. A little bit different. I mean, Lakers a little more cliche, but, good to see some Hornets and some Jazz in here. I feel like we haven't had them in a while. So
I weirdly, I think I know 3 right off the rip.
I mean, listen, go ahead. What you got?
So, because we saw them in Summer League, Hornets, Lakers, Malik Monk.
Yep.
Would
facts.
work.
Yep.
Nets, Hornets, Jeremy Lin.
Yep.
Lakers, Utah. Talon Horton Tucker. You remember?
Talon Horton Tucker does work. That's the first one you got to lock in. Horton Tucker works. Wow. I agree. I mean, Karl Malone's going to be the number one answer there.
But for whatever reason, because I know we talked about him a lot back in the old podcast days, he popped right in my head. Nets.
Jazz, the number one answer is going to be Darren Williams.
But I'm trying to get a little fancier with it.
Richard Jefferson works for those teams.
Richard Jefferson's a good one.
Jazz and Nets. I feel like they're. Yeah, I feel like there's a bigger name player that we're missing besides D. Will. I think Andre Karolinko works there.
Karolinko is a good one. Yeah.
A little less 100% about. I mean, I know Karolinko played for the Jazz. It's obviously where he, had the large majority of his career. Paul Millsap works there.
Millsap's a good one. Yep. Rudy Gay was definitely on the Jazz, but I'm not confident about the Nets. Yeah, I'm not confident about the Nets. Okay. All right. So what do we want to do here? Talon.
I think we do Talon Horton Tucker for sure. Do Horton Tucker. Do Horton.
Horto. There he is. Yeah. There you go. 5%
Nice.
is kind of surprising.
It's relatively recent. I think that's the only reason.
But like,
and THT was one of those guys I feel like was like when he played for the Lakers, they were like, this is one of our promising young guys. Which,
yeah.
You know, what are you gonna do?
Worked out the way it worked out. All right. So do you want to do any of the Jeremy Lin or who did I say for Malik Monk? I feel like both are gonna be high.
I just want to think about him a little more.
Yeah.
Like, it's good to have those as back. The only other one I think we should lock in right now is I kind of want to do Andre Karolinko for Nets and Jazz. I'm fairly convinced he ended his career on the Nets because he didn't play for the Sixers because he refused to report. We were saying EI
at the end.
Yeah,
EI.
Yeah, European spelling.
Karolinko.
Damn, 10%. Wow. Man, I blew it. I'm kind of bummed at me there. Wow. Man, 10%.
Okay.
I guess he could have worked for born outside U.S. and 50 states for Brooklyn, too. That might have been a little lower.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that probably would be. No, it's fine. Well,
there's a bunch for both.
We'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
We'll be fine. Is there any weird, like, one-off, like for 20 points per game, Gordon Hayward probably has it. Would be an interesting one because I feel
Gordon Hayward definitely out for Utah.
Yeah, and probably Kessler. Is that who I'm thinking of?
Walker Kessler?
You think?
I don't think he has 20.
And then what's his name? Who from the Bulls? Didn't they bring him over?
Boozer?
Oh, no, not Boozer.
I was like, dude, Carlos Boozer, low key. If you want to lock in a Utah guest for 20 a game, I was like, he was good. I mean, he would definitely have.
You think he'd have 20?
Yeah, definitely.
Boozer?
Boozer was good, dude.
Well, I mean, I'm down to put Boozer on it if you think he would.
It's not even like,
That's
think he has 20. Like,
I'm
confident he had 20 with Utah.
Want to do Boozer there?
Yeah, I'm with it.
Carlos Boozer, lock him in 3%. Wow, I would have not thought
baller,
that, honestly.
Dude. He was a mid-2000s baller on Utah. Yeah, I mean, he was good on Chicago.
Who did? Hold on, I'm going to look it up now. Who was from Bulls to the Jazz? It was recent. Bulls, Jazz, trade.
Well, like the trade.
Who am I thinking of?
Bulls, Jazz. It was recent.
Yeah, who was their star?
For the Jazz or for the Bulls?
For the Bulls, he was a forward shooter. I thought they traded him to the
Markkanen.
Markkanen, yes, that's it. I'm like, I can't think of the
dang
guy's name. He probably had 20.
Markkanen definitely had 20.
Yeah. That's who I was thinking of, Markkanen. All right. So then Hornets 20 a game. Kemba.
Yeah, Kemba's the obvious answer here.
Yeah,
I mean, LaMelo, I'm pretty sure works. I think that's probably an obvious one. I mean, if you want to talk old pod guys that were gems on those teams for a while, and though to be fair, I do worry about how the statistics rank here, but
sure.
I feel like Al Jefferson, when he had that third team season, he for sure had 20 a game.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else on the Hornets has been like good recently. I mean, all time, like Baron Davis for sure had it. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking of like even like Jamal Mashburn, I feel like probably had that a game there. The Hornets just retired Del Curry's jersey. I don't think he was ever at 20.
Well, Del would be good.
But I wish he was at 20. I don't think he was at 20. Let's go throwback. Let's do Jamal Mashburn because we kind of got the 2000s thing going here with Carlos Boozer, and I'm pretty convinced. I mean, we didn't even talk about Chris Paul and David West would work here too, but do Jamal Mashburn. He was good on that team with Baron Davis.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go. 2. Okay.
I mean, the 4-20 game a season. Like, how much time do you have?
Do you think Ricky Rubio ever had 20 a season?
No, I don't think he ever had 20.
I don't think he did either. I know he was a triple-double machine in terms of, or a
Oh
double
yeah.
machine
If
assist
this
wise,
was
but
10 plus, I'd for sure
oh
be
yeah,
like all about it at 10 plus. But yeah,
yeah,
Rubio was never giving you 20. I mean, the big answers are going to be like Olajuwon, Tim Duncan,
Luka,
um, Luka. Yeah, Luka's a good answer.
Jokic,
Dirk, Jokic,
Dirk,
Giannis,
Giannis,
Wemby.
Wemby.
I mean,
I'd
any of
have
the
Wemby.
either of the Gasol brothers.
Part of me, Gasol probably be low. I
Well,
bet you
no,
go. I bet Mark Gasol would be low.
I think Marc Gasol would be low. I think the other one, the other random guy that just came to mind, I think would be kind of low is Tony Parker. Um,
Ginobili.
God, Ginobili's right on the border. Ginobili's like Marc Gasol with me, where I feel like
Boris
where
Diaw.
Diaw wasn't giving you 20. I mean,
I'm just working my way down the team. Honestly, he probably was close at one point. It wouldn't
at
surprise me.
Phoenix, I think he might have been
Yeah.
close if he was gonna be close. Ginobili and Gasol are like right on the border for me, so I'm a little worried about them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Who else? Well, we probably should save Gasol. Well, we can use more. Never mind, because it's born outside is pretty open. There's a lot of players.
well, especially when you do rotation players, you only get 20 minutes a game. Like,
yeah. Oh man,
do Tony Parker.
Tony, you want to try
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, Tony's more in France. He definitely had 20 a game at one point.
Waka. Yeah, 2%. There you go. Tony.
All right, let's do you want to do teams or you want to do foreign players?
It's up to you. I mean, we already know who we can go with for the two up there if we don't have a player for the connections, but
I mean, the big Nets answer for born outside the U.S. is probably going to be Petrovic. I mean, Petrovic is like one of the OG foreign players.
Yeah.
I think his jersey's retired by Brooklyn, I believe. That's an easy one. Bless you. I'm
Thank
trying to think of the random, like, I mean, because they've had obviously so many guys. Like trying to like go through their roster recently.
yeah.
Think of those like Harden, Kyrie teams.
Yeah.
Problem is, I don't think any of them were born outside the U.S. So
I know.
God, I feel like I went from thinking the Nets had so many obvious ones to being like, who on the Nets was born outside the U.S.
Who
recently?
even on the Nets was outside the U.S.?
Because none of their greats were really. Like Jason Kidd wasn't.
Yeah.
Vince Carter wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's guys on the like roster currently that are. Michael Porter's not one of them. We may have to cop out and just go Petrovic.
We can go Petrovic. I'm fine with that.
All right, I don't think we've ever used him at Grid before, so
Does spell it?
Petro. Yeah, the second one down. Drazen Petrovic. Yeah,
34%. Wow.
I mean, listen, Euro guy.
Yeah,
you know
a lot of people are going to be going that way.
The OG Nets jerseys too, always sick.
I feel like I know we use them a lot, but I feel like a Dwight Howard connect for Hornets Lakers would work.
Oh, it definitely works, 100%.
Yeah.
I think does Ish work?
Ish Smith probably.
I mean, I know Ish played for the Hornets. I don't know if he played for the Lakers.
Hornets Nets. Trying to
Hornets,
think of some other guys.
Yeah, Hornets Nets. I'm trying to think. Besides D Will, D Will's the obvious one.
Lin, Jeremy Lin works.
Jeremy Lin.
That's who we were saying.
Not Hornets. Wait a minute. What am I talking? I'm thinking that Darren Williams for Jazz. What am I talking about?
Oh yeah. Jeremy Lin and who else did we say? We said Jeremy Lin and who was our other person? We had one, didn't we? We had a second one.
I don't think so.
Maybe not. Okay. Okay. Lakers born outside. I mean, we have Gasol. It's an easy
Lakers
one.
born outside. Gasol, Vlade Divac is going to be big. He'd be big for
Yep.
that.
Yep.
I mean, low key, right on the. I mean, Luka, and then right on the roster
Oh yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I don't think DeAndre Ayton was born. We mentioned him a little earlier.
Oh,
DeAndre Ayton was born in the Bahamas.
Ayton's a good one. He would
We
probably
could
be
do
the lowest.
we do Ayton. I'm cool with Ayton there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Ayton's from Bahamas, so he would definitely be outside the U.S.
Aton.
Ayton.
Ayton. Yeah, there it is. Low. Look at that. 2%.
Nice. Wow. Okay. All right. Let's close this out. Nets and Lin. Yeah, like I really was trying to find somebody other than Jeremy Lin because I feel like we do Jeremy Lin a lot. Know who might work there now that I'm thinking about it? I think Seth Curry works there.
Oh, Seth. Yeah.
Seth
right?
definitely played for the Hornets early on or at some point.
He went from us to the Nets, right? In the Harden trade. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
Seth's a good one.
Yeah, let's do Seth there. We haven't done him in a while.
Yeah, look at that. 12% too. It's kind of crazy.
I'm telling you, that's a hard category.
Yeah.
All right. And so last one, Lakers and Hornets. Dwight's the obvious answer.
Dwight, Malik Monk.
Oh, Malik Monk will be lower than Dwight. If we're gonna do somebody there, it should be Malik Monk. I don't think, dude. Know who I did? Know what? Dude, no, Lance Stevenson works, and there's one more that I mentioned him, Vlade Divac. Vlade Divac played for a season in the Hornets. I would do either Divac or Lance. I think they'll be the lowest.
Yeah, I guess maybe. I don't know. I'm fine. I'm 50-50 on it.
Let's do Divac. I want to see Vlade Divac in there. We do Lance a decent amount. DIV.
Man, I haven't gotten one right today.
The top one. There we go.
There it is.
Bam.
Yeah, you got it.
Love it. Immaculate Grid. All right, so let's scroll down. Most popular
connections.
Sure, they're gonna be random guys. I don't know.
PJ Brown.
Oh, Alonzo Mourning. Okay.
Gerald
Wallace. That's a good. We mentioned Gerald Wallace in this episode. Damn.
Dennis Smith Plumlee. That's a good one.
Okay.
Jeremy Lin. Dante Cunningham.
Livingston would have been a good one. Wow.
Steven Jackson.
Yeah, these are tough. Like I know a lot of these guys, but yeah, none of these. Gerald Wallace is the one where I'm like, okay, we should have got Gerald Wallace, especially since we talked about in this episode.
Noah Vonleh would be a low one. Did 4 games
he got drafted by the
Nets.
Hornets.
Yeah, did 4 games for the Nets. That'd be crazy. All right.
Yeah, that'd be stupid low.
Yeah.
All right. So our most popular answers for each one: Alonzo Mourning for Hornets and Nets. Wow, Divac was for Hornets and Lakers. Wow, I gained that one wrong. Jeez. Larry Johnson, most popular 20 points per game for the Hornets, that's cool. I didn't expect that one.
We didn't even mention Donovan Mitchell. That's sorry. Didn't. I was getting ahead. Yeah.
It's crazy. Darren Williams for Jazz and Nets, Karl Malone for Lakers and Jazz, Donovan Mitchell for Jazz, 20 a game per season, Drazen Petrovic for the Nets and born outside the U.S., Luka Doncic for Lakers born outside the U.S., Dirk for 20 a game per season and born outside the U.S.
59 for born outside the U.S. Nets.
I mean, yeah, but they're all right. They're all like guy. Oh, Luwawu Cabarrot was a Sixer at one point. That's funny. Oh, Ben. Wow, that's terrible.
Schroeder. We should have. He's like our go-to.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben. Yeah, dude. What are we doing?
An Immaculate Grid darling.
Come on.
Yeah.
Stauskas. Scola.
Yeah, Stauskas
up every other.
I totally forgot Scola played
Patty
for the Nets.
Mills, Cam Thomas, Kyrie.
Yeah, I forgot Kyrie was obvious too. Yeah, I always forget about that. All right, let's go back to ours though one last time. Our Immaculate Grid this week: Seth Curry for Hornets and Nets, Vlade Divac for Hornets and Lakers, Jamal Mashburn for Hornets 20 a game per season, Andre Karolinko for Jazz and Nets, Talon Horton-Tucker for Jazz and Lakers, Carlos Boozer for Jazz and 20 a game per season, Drazen Petrovic for Nets born outside the U.S., DeAndre Ayton for Lakers born outside the U.S., and Tony Parker for 20 a game and born outside the U.S. Thank you everybody for listening to this episode of the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. Appreciate you guys as always. Wherever you can find a podcast, you can find us.
And follow us on YouTube, Drive and Dish NBA. You can subscribe. You get to watch the video version of the podcast and obviously get notifications when new episodes are coming out.